blastmusic247.com. We're changing the industry one artist at a time.
Oh man, what's good? What's good? What's good? This is your boy Paul Cram, the poet, aka Drip of All Trades, and I see the lovely Muna J is here with us right now. What's up, Muna?
My temperature.
Oh Lord. Man. So hey, we got a really special episode today. So
yes,
yeah,
I've been counting the days because I've been looking forward to this. I've been counting the days because I've been looking forward to this guest.
Man, this you have no idea. Like I was nervous even asking him to do it because this man is so busy doing the work of a saint, basically. I know this brother. Like I'm honored to say that I know this brother. I'm honored to say that I can call him my friend. Let me tell you. So I'm just give you a little bit of insight on Mr. Dominique Teasley. Dominique Teasley is from Alexandria, Louisiana, and he's an RAC who he will explain that to you. An advocate who currently works tirelessly to improve the lives of others and to promote access to care for substance use and mental health in our communities. Dominique currently works as a social service counselor for Central Louisiana Human Services District as lead of the mobile crisis team. He serves as a counselor for the Rapides Parish Drug Court and Edgefield Recovery Center. He also works in outreach and as a balance facilitator for class, Healthy Living for All. Dominique was once someone in need of services for substance use who turned his life around to become a mentor, an advocate, a loving father, and husband. Dominique is committed to spreading knowledge, hope, and love to the community that he serves. And I will flat out tell you all that my community is that much better because of this man. So without further ado, everybody, please welcome Mr. Dominique Teasley to the stage.
What's up? Hey, how you doing?
Hey.
Hey, how you doing?
All right. You?
I'm doing good.
That's good.
Thank y'all for having me.
Man, thank you for accepting the invitation.
Yeah.
We both been looking forward to this.
I appreciate y'all. I'm humble, that y'all would even want me to come. I'm just grateful,
Appreciate it. So we're gonna go ahead and just get right into it, man. So we see right now, we're looking at your name, Dominique Teasley. Right under it, you have Project Rebuild LLC. So can you explain to us what Project Rebuild is?
Yeah. Okay. So it's funny how I got the name Project Rebuild. So, in my other life, at the end, I was doing certain things. I was, selling and, in the streets real heavy. And the state police and some other police organizations, they made this thing called the Meth Project. In the Meth Project, they were cleaning up the streets. They were making drug busts and just trying to clean up the streets and they called it the Meth Project. And so when the time came when I was in a space to get my life in order and change, I always remembered that thing, the Meth Project, because they had they took me to jail. And I said to myself, I said, you know what? If they got the Meth Project to clean up the streets, and then I'm gonna come up with my own thing, and I'm gonna call it Project Rebuild. And so when I think I was still in treatment, or this may have been even before I went to treatment when my mind was telling me that I wanted to make a change, but I wasn't able to do so yet. So I came up with Project Rebuild, and it just stuck with me, you know.
That's dope. So this show is normally like we'll have artists up here, we'll run, we'll shoot the shit, we'll spit a couple pieces, this, that, and the other. But what makes this show a little bit different is that the spotlight is 100% on you. Today, the viewers get to completely understand what it took for you to triumph over adversity.
Right.
So,
Okay.
however you want to start, tell us your story.
Okay. So, whenever I go and tell my story, so if I would have, when I, telling my story 5 years ago is a little different from me telling my story now. Because through the process of me telling my story, through the process of me, learning what I've learned and the knowledge I've gained, throughout this process, I've had to start telling my story different, because at one point in time, I thought when I was telling my story that I had a drug addiction. I thought I had a problem with drugs. I thought I had a problem with the lifestyle, with hustling and being in the streets. But the more knowledge I gained, I realized that my story actually started way, 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 way before I ever picked up a substance, before I ever sold a substance, before I ever, was in the streets, before I did anything criminal or anything of that nature. My story actually really started way before that. So I tell it a little different. So I'm gonna start my mom. I'm gonna start all the way back, y'all. And y'all bear with me, because I start all the way back when I'm telling my story to before I was born. Because I know now that my story actually started from before I was born. My mom, she was married. I think my mom got married probably at a young age. She had 4 kids, 3 girls and a son. So it was Linda B, Shell, and my brother Tyrone, which a lot of people know Tyrone. And so around the age, I think my mama was around the age of 44 or something like that. I don't know actually when she got divorced, but my mama and their dad divorced. So once they divorced, my mama, she was single, and the story goes, my mama said she had moved up a third, and she was looking out the window, and she seen this tall, dark, handsome man walking up the street. Which that man turned out to be my dad. And they do, I hate to say it, but they got a song about my daddy. Y'all know that song, Papa Was a Rolling Stone. I always make light of it and say that they made that song about my daddy, because wherever he laid his hat was his home. I just like to throw that in there. So, but my dad, he was married. My mama say she didn't know, but my dad was married, and on my dad's side, I had a sister and a brother, and my dad had a wife, Kat. Sweet lady. She's no longer with us. And then my sister and brother on my daddy's side with Kat, he had Ben and Shell. And then my dad had another outside child, and her name is Lakeitha Bell. A lot of people don't know, but Sharon Norwood, Benny Norwood, and Lakeitha Bell are my sisters and brothers on my dad's side, right? So
Okay.
I got a pretty big family. And so growing up, bro, I really never felt like I belonged, kind of. Like I didn't know it then, but when I look back, I really never felt like I belonged. And I learned that my first drug of choice, and I say drug of choice because the first thing I used outside of myself to make me feel whole was basketball. And I normally wouldn't say that when I used to tell my story, but the first thing that made me feel like I belonged, that made me feel like I had arrived, that made me feel like I was the man, it just fixed whatever that was on the inside of me, the way I viewed myself. Basketball fixed it, you know. My other drug of choice as a young kid was attention. I got a lot of nieces and nephews, a lot of them, and a lot of them, because my mama had me at an older age, they were around my age. So I used to dance and sing and act like Richard Pryor and do all kind of, like, I used to do anything to make them laugh. But looking back now, I know that attention was, that was, it was giving me something else. So it made me feel wanted. It made me feel seen, loved, appreciated. So that was my second drug of choice. And also at a young age, I learned I had another drug of choice. Now, see, where I'm from, they have this thing called stigma, right? And so in the Black community, in our community, stigma was big. Like, you didn't hear about people going to mental health appointments in the Black community. You didn't hear about stuff like that. So I also learned that pain take away pain. So I used to cut at a young age, and when I would cut when I would cut myself, I learned that I could use this cutting for a bunch of different reasons. It could take away the pain I was feeling. I could manipulate. I could get what I want. I could get attention. It would do a lot of things. And I remember, my mama, she never took me to a mental health appointment, but she did the best thing that she could do. She prayed. She loved on me, hugged on me. She did whatever she could do to fix it. You know what I mean? She didn't have knowledge of, we need to go and take you to a mental health appointment and get you some mental health. My dad, if he found out, he gonna, boy, what's wrong with you? What is you doing? Like, he gonna be ready to knock me out. So, stigma in our community kind of, kept me away from that. And also when I was young, like simple stuff, like I tell a lot of people all the time, we think trauma is just like the hard and tough things that we go through. Like, but trauma is perceived too. Like trauma, if I feel or perceive, something is a certain way, then that can create trauma for me. If I perceive myself as a certain way, that can create trauma for me. My mama was older. I hate the jokes on my mama, but she was older, and she used to come to, them Jeffrey Dahmer glasses, them big.
Yeah.
Lord,
We call them BCGs.
Yeah, my mama used to come up to the school with them glasses and them rollers in her hand. I used to, they used to be like, that's your mama? I'd be like, nah, that's my grandma. Little stuff like that, used to have me kind of shame. I used to act out at school. Like I used to act out. I'll never forget when I was at Brain. They tried to put me in them classes. My mama came up there and acted a fool. She said, boy, ain't nothing wrong with you in behavior class, because I was acting out. But I played basketball in junior high. And that kept me straight. That kept me good. So going into high school, man, I messed my knee up. Like I got like 8 screws, a plate. My cousin told me I couldn't dunk this tall goal, and I told him, like, I'm finna dunk. I went down there. That was the first time I ever prayed. I said, please, Jesus, let me dunk. The goal was like 12 feet, and I ran, and when I pushed down, all you heard was pow, and it messed my knee up. And so I had to have surgery and get all that stuff put in there. But they gave me a prescription. That was the first time I had opiates, right? And because of my culture now, like I knew what opiates was. I knew because of the music I loved. I love DJ Screw. They rapped about being player. They rapped about sipping syrup. They rapped about hustling, riding swangers. And I idolized that already. And once basketball was taken from me, then my next drug of choice was to be like the people I seen in the music, and also be like the people I seen in my neighborhood who was doing those type of things. And you know, I'm from Woodside, you know, McDonald Street right there. And in the music in Houston and McDonald, they was like, so I thought I was part of the screwed up clique. My best friend, one of my best friends, John Tay, his brother and them, they was a part of it. And so you couldn't tell me I wasn't part of the screwed up clique, you know. And so, and also, you know, throughout high school, you know, a lot of we all did stuff, but I did it different. Like we could go to the club and they would do it, and then during the week at school they'll be able to stop. And me, like I continued to use, like I brought my cold drink to school. I got became physically addicted to opiates while I still was in school. I had to have it every day, my 12th grade year for sure. Um, and so I became not everybody gonna have the disease of addiction. And what we in my community see as the disease of addiction, we see when you say addict, we automatically think about the people standing outside the store, that's
Yeah.
homeless, that's using needles and this and that. I didn't have any education about addiction. I didn't have any education about trauma or stuff like that. So you know, I didn't know that it was progressive, that it was fatal, it was cunning, it was baffling. We didn't talk about that. So basically, my 12th grade year, man, I just, you know, I just lived a life. Had my oldest son, um, the young lady, I won't put her name, but she ended up getting pregnant for me. Um, and she was pregnant my 12th grade year, and I think I caught my first felony charge in the 12th grade, and I ended up having another girl pregnant, I think, around the same time. So, you know, I'm already seeing the consequences of this lifestyle, but I'm not seeing them as that. And so one of my brothers ended up taking me to the district attorney, man, and they say, look, both of my big brothers were in the Marine Corps. So I'm like, you know, I'm going to the Marine Corps. I'm going to get my life together. So they dropped the charges, and I went off to the Marine Corps, and bro, that didn't last long. Um, that addiction was already in play. I remember, you know, being in boot camp and going and get my wisdom teeth taken out just so that I could get a prescription, putting that may cause drowsiness sign on a letter, mailing it home to my sister, like, well, little Opal, like, you know, look, sis, I'm all up here leaning. I thought it was cool. I didn't think it was a problem, even though it was causing me consequences. Fast forward a little bit, ended up going AWOP. Well, and let me tell you, like, I'm in the Marine Corps active duty. They gave me 30 days where I could come home and go into the high schools and tell all the students, you know, join the Marine Corps to change your life. I had a kid and one on the way at this time, and or maybe I had two by this time. And I'm going into the high schools, and I'm like, join the Marine Corps to change your life, you know. And every night that I was home for them 30 days, me and my homeboys, we stood outside the club holding up big paints to serve and still using and living that, wanting to live that lifestyle. You know, I'm in the Marine Corps, but I'm holding up paints and trying to sell, you know, serve. Like, it just was in me to be that person. That's who I thought, you know, I was supposed to be, or who I wanted to be. So my Marine Corps career didn't last long. Fast forward, you know, I got in some trouble, went AWOL, and found myself going through the airports with shackles on. It was around the time when all that stuff was happening with the terrorists and stuff like that. And I'm walking through, the first time I got on the airplane, I'm walking through the airport, you know, with two Marine Corps chasers and all black suits, like, and I'm walking through the airports, flying me back to Jacksonville, North Carolina, and I ended up going do time in the brig and getting a bad conduct discharge out the Marine Corps. So,
Man, that sounds familiar.
so I'm sorry, y'all. My daughter just walked up talking to me.
Oh, no. Ain't no apologies, man. It's never no time off on parenthood. Handle your business.
Right. So I ended up, you know, getting a bad conduct discharge out the Marine Corps, doing time in the brig. And when I got out of the brig, I ended up coming back to Louisiana. I ended up getting busted coming from Houston, and me and the girl I was with, she ended up going to jail. Like she wasn't even in the streets, but I'm causing trouble for her and everybody else, and I ended up doing some DOC time. So here I am, man. This cool dude thought I was, everything going on. Didn't think I had a problem. Didn't think I had any issues. I got 2 kids now. I done been to the military brig. I got a bad conduct discharge from the Marine Corps, and I done did department. I done been in DOC. And when I got out, now I got a solution. Like I'm always searching for a solution, something outside of myself to make me feel whole, to change me, to make me better. So I said, I'm going to Northwest and I'm going to college with my homeboys. And I remember going up there to Northwestern, man, and they gave me financial aid. And the only thing I did with financial aid was I get that financial aid and shoot straight to Houston, grab whatever, come back to Natchitoches and just hustle and sip and live that lifestyle. I remember it was so bad, so bad. Like me and the people I was living with, my homeboys, we had classes together, and they'd walk around me. We lived together, take my car and go to class because they knew one thing, like I was caught up in that lifestyle. It was all about hustling. It was all about using. That's all it was about. But really it was about fixing something on the inside, but I didn't know that at that time. And so they gave it to me again, same story. All I, hustle, 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 be player, ride rims, have music, have money in my pocket, sip syrup. But I wasn't taking care of my kids. I wasn't being a good father. I was caught up in this thing in my mind that I was this person, and I really wasn't. It was all about the streets. It was all about using, all about selling. And just fast forward, it's just that same cycle. I ended up getting locked up again. And this time when I got out, I got another solution. We fast forward now. We're gonna fast forward about 10 years to about this, probably about we'll do 2010, 2011 when I got out and I got another solution. I got a girl, right? I got this girl, and she knew about some stuff I didn't know about. She introduced me to selling some stuff I didn't know about. And so during that time, I made the most money I ever made in my drug dealing history. I thought I had came out. I got introduced to a drug called crystal meth, and I'm black. And in 2010, this wasn't something that was known or was big in our community, in the black community for sure. And like it was crazy. I made more money. I was making $1,000 profit every day. And made more money than I ever made in my life. But the thing was, the disease of addiction still was there. So, and it's progressive, it's fatal, it's cunning, it's baffling. Here I am, this player dude, like thinking I'm this cool dude, man. And I'll never forget the people I was hanging with. They would use it. And one day, the girl I was her brother or whatnot, he was like, man, just put it in a piece of paper and eat it. It's like eating some medicine or something. And I started eating it. I started using crystal meth, man. And that's when everything really, really, truly started to change for me. And then this part of my story that I'm finna get in, it's the part of my story that, we all had that part that we don't like to tell, that part of our story that we like to hide. So for one, I like to hide this part of my story because I always thought that, I was a moral failing. I thought that I was this bad person. I thought that I was just this horrible father. I thought I was this horrible son. I just didn't like who I was because of this part of my story, and and I started using crystal meth, and I tell my story, and because it's my story, right? And so one day he came and he said, you know, if you do it this way, you won't have to use it that often. And I've used a lot of different stuff, and I think I did everything except crack cocaine. That's probably the only thing I haven't done when it comes to using. But he said if you do it this way, you won't have to do it that often. And I started injecting crystal meth. And once I started injecting crystal meth, because in my family, in my DNA, or my in the epigenetics or whatever, however you want to look at it, we have a lot of mental health, we have a lot of trauma, we have a lot of stuff like that, right? And so once I started using it and started using it that way, then it kicked me into what you call a drug-induced psychosis. And I was stuck in that for about 3 years, a good 3 years. And the girl I was with, she ended up getting pregnant. And when she got pregnant, because we were so far in this thing, like I wanted to tell, like, we gotta stop, like we have to stop, like, pregnant, like I'm already not being, we gotta stop. But the part that we couldn't stop, we couldn't stop. We were doing anything to change the way we feel, and we used that whole pregnancy. And I don't say her because we did, we didn't go to doctor's appointments, we didn't do any of that. And then one day my sister B, they came and they kind of kidnapped this woman, right? And in a little cup bottle, she probably was about 7 months, bro. And I'll never forget, I got that call and they said that she was in labor. And I went to the hospital, and you know the the the, the kids were, in the NIC unit, fighting for their life because they were, they were premature. And even with that, I couldn't stop using. I could not stop using. You know what I did? I went in that hospital and used and gave her stuff until the people at the hospital put us out. And the state took those, and we didn't even know it, but she was pregnant with twins. And the state took them instantly. And when they put us out that hospital, bro, I'll never forget that day. Um, when they put us out, I'm running, like I'm running, literally running. It's pouring down raining. And I always felt like I was in a movie. I said, man, like God crying for me. I'm so bad. Like I'm so bad off, even God crying for me. And I'm running in the rain like a crazy man, thinking like the feds after me for some strange reason. And I ended up, getting locked up again. And once I got locked up, the state had the kids. Bro, it got so bad when I was in jail the last time I ended up in jail, man. Like I was in psychosis, like always thinking something. I'm hearing something. Couldn't go around none of my people. I never forget the last time I went around my mom. She was in her 70s. She still had those same glasses, just to make you laugh. But my mama, man, she dropped to her knees and held her hands up to the sky and said, God, please save my baby. Like I was just running wild. And I ended up getting locked up again. And when I got locked up, I'm in there, and I'm thinking like one day, I'm in the, and you could see the light coming in, and but you can't see out the window, and the people say, Teasley, everything you got. And I jump up, and I'm thinking I'm finna go home. I go in the day room, even though I was this man with no purpose. in psychosis, bathing with my clothes on. You know, I tell people spiritual warfare. My demons were on me. I would see things, hear things, feel things that were not there. Like I tell people, on clinically they call it psychosis. I was in a spiritual warfare because everything I feared, it was coming to life. If I feared the girl was messing over on me, then guess what? I'll see her messing with people that really wasn't there. If I feared the police was coming, then guess what? I see everybody around me will be the police. Whatever I feared, my insecurities, my low self-esteem, my inner child, my shadow self, that stuff was being attacked. I didn't see no positive. I didn't see no angels. All I seen was demons. And you know, and so I jump up and go in the day room. I'm like, the people just called me. Bro, everybody in the jail bust out laughing. They like, man, that stuff that messed you up, Dominique. So I was even at that point in time the lowest in the jail. You know what I mean? Like, and I was a cool dude. Like I was a good dude, you know. And here I am, hearing voices, in psychosis, I done been in a lot of situations in the physical, right? Like robbing, being robbed, police, chasing, whatever you could think about. I done been in it in the physical, but nothing was more frightening than what I was going through in the spiritual and in the mental. And when I try to tell people, they laugh at me. Nobody, you know, nothing was more frightening than that because I was alone. I was trapped. I was, you know, I thought God had left me, had forsaken, you know, I didn't see nothing good. And, you know, that was the toughest. And, so you want to, I know we supposed to break. So.
Oh no, you good. But yeah, we gonna go ahead and do this music break, and we definitely gonna come right back. So, oh my God, Dominique.
Yeah,
man, I knew this was gonna be an amazing episode. I knew it was gonna be a tough episode, but you know, I'm an emotional tough guy, and like just hearing your story, but knowing where you at now, bro, it's just
yeah.
So thank everybody for I thank you guys for being with us today. Right now is the midway point, and we have the Blast Music Spotlight. Tonight we have the artist Hakeem Romance, one of my favorite Blast artists, and it's Balance. So I hope you guys enjoy.
SOE. Hey, look. You done put some things that's heavy on my soul. So heavy I can't carry it, I lose control. Whoa, 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 whoa. Balance. Oh no, no, no. Oh no, 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 I'm back at it. I'm about to pull a big flex out. City boy chillin' with my chest out. Dust off my shoulders, I'm the best out. I'm a romantic bitch, never let her out. I'm about to act a donkey, only if it want it. So let it until the morning. Shawty wanna take a ride on my pony. Ayy, what do we have here today? Shawty, you eatin', time to percolate. Put on your birthday suit, I like it. Something I can grab onto, yeah. I'm on, take it out, then you roll up at a log, take it out on you, yeah. Where you tryna go, just say the word and let me know, I show you things that you never seen before, Just don't cross that line, I'll leave you behind, disrespectfully. You done put some things that's heavy on my soul. So heavy I can't carry it, I lose control. Whoa, 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 whoa. Balance. Oh no, no, no. Oh no, 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 I'm back at it. Fresh, particular day. Fucking with a real who well. Too clean, gotta slide on the bitch. Just tryna keep dreaming, make a wish. I know you want it, babe. Hurry before it's too late. Don't keep me waiting now. Don't keep me waiting now. You gon' pull up, do what I say so. 50 shades of romance, you never let it go. This what you wanted, right? No backing out tonight. This what you asked for. Don't worry, I plan to give you more. Where you tryna go? Just say the word and let me know. I show you things that you never seen before. Just don't cross that line, I'll leave you behind disrespectfully. You done put some things that's heavy on my soul. So heavy I can't carry it, I lose control. Whoa, 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 whoa. Balance. Oh no, no, no. Oh no, no, no. I'm back at it.
All right, man. That was Hakeem Romance with Balance. And if you are an independent artist or a spoken word poet, or even an up-and-coming comedian that's looking for some exposure, you can go to blastmusic247.com and register for free. But Blast is also looking for the fans. So if you're a fan of great music, you can also register as an unlimited fan at blastmusic247.com for free. Blast. We're constantly changing the industry, one artist at a time. All right. So we're going to get back into the amazing story of Mr. Dominique Teasley. So Amun, I want you to get a piece ready. It's gonna be for later on. We only doing one piece tonight. This is his show. So let's go ahead and get back to Mr. Dominique Teasley.
Thank you. And also, and I wanted to mention a couple things. Throughout that time of my addiction and lifestyle, all of my family supported me. All of them. It's not every one of my sisters and brothers on my mama's side, every one of my sisters and brothers on my dad's side, my dad, his wife, my mom, all my nieces and nephews, like everybody always supported me. Like it's never a time where I didn't have people that was supporting me, showing me love, and just loving me where I was at. And I just think that's important for me to say, because even though I felt alone, I didn't have to be alone. You get what I'm saying? Because of who I was, I chose to be alone. You know, I didn't want to be around people because I was so ashamed of who I was. And, you know, at that end point, before that, I was around, you know, because it wasn't really an issue. Because in our culture, sipping syrup and popping pills wasn't really an issue, and hustling. You know, like in our culture, because of the way the system was set up, that really wasn't an issue, but it is, and it was. So I'll start. So I'm in jail, and I want to mention this too. I was ended up getting probation again, and I had ended up getting in some trouble. And before this time, I was sitting in a cell, and they were finna violate me. I didn't have money for a lawyer, and a lawyer was walking by, which is a judge now. And he seen me sitting in that cell, and he was like, "What you doing in there?" You know, and I told him what was about to happen. You know, without me having any money, he pulled me out, brought me in front of the judge, and they ended up giving me another shot. You know, so I'm in jail, and so I'm in psychosis still. I think the people say Teasley, everything you got. I jump up, and I say the people just call me, and everybody busts out laughing. They're like, "Man, that stuff messed you up." And so I really felt like I was the lowest, even in the jail at that time. And I went laid back down, and the same guard that I seen said, open that door and said, "Teasley, everything you got." And this was for real this time, right? And so that was one of my first spiritual awakenings that I was aware of, you know, that was a good on the good side, and not the all the way dark. And so even though I was a man with no purpose at that time, even though I was hearing voices, even though I wasn't being a good father, I thought that I was finna get out, and I was ready to go get anything to change the way I feel, to make me not see who I had became. Like I didn't want to look at myself anymore. I was ashamed of who I became. I was a moral failing, and and at that time I always say I think that's when somebody's prayers was answered, because at that point in time in my life, I wasn't doing no praying. I'm not gonna sit here and act like I was praying like I thought I was literally a part of something dark. And it was a sheriff, and they put me in cuffs, and they took me over to Red River Treatment Center. Um, nobody ever told me I needed to go to treatment, so because of the stigma. But they took me to that treatment center, and let me show you about trauma and pain on the inside. When I got there, I wanted anything I can get. Who got calipressors, which is a blood pressure medication? Who got trazodone, which is a mental health medication? Who got Wellbutrin? Anything to make me feel different than what I was feeling. I was trying to get it because I did not want to sit with that person I had became. Like, I did not want to be him, I did not want to be him anymore. And I remember being in there, man, and I'm at a place to get help, and I'm still trying to find something to change the way I feel, change the way whatever was going on the inside of me. And a girl who I knew from out there, she came over there and she was sharing her story just like I just shared my story with y'all. And after the first meeting, I went and I told her, I was like, I know you a part of the Illuminati. She's like, boy, you crazy. Go sit down somewhere. I thought everybody was either Illuminati, they was either the police, or, like it was because I was in a spiritual warfare.
Yeah.
So I used to think some stuff, and I say now, some of it may have been, I always debate that stuff. But the next time she came, she's sharing, and I could see this light going off of her, man, and that was the first time that I felt like maybe I can change, because she said 3 things: indispensable: honesty, open-mindedness, and willingness. And right then in that moment, I became open-minded and willing to do something different, to try, to fight. And I told God, I said, when I was at that treatment center, I said, God, like, if you stop these voices, if you stop these hallucinations, I promise you, I'll spend the rest of my life trying to teach people about the disease of addiction, teach people that is not a moral failing, that we not bad people, that we not church, all that stigma, that it's a mental health disorder, that it's a spiritual disease, and that there is a way out, and that's what I did. I got out of treatment. I went into an Oxford House. I was put into the drug court program, Rapid Peace Parish Drug Court, and my first job was at Arby's. I know y'all know I was the best Arby's worker in the state or in the world. I used to be like, thank you for choosing Arby's. My name is Dominique. Would you like that small, medium, or large? I found myself again at Arby's. I never had a job other than going to the Marines and failing it. And so, I worked at Arby's. I started going to meetings, and I started, working on myself, going to mental health appointments, started working on my spirituality. I started doing all the things that were suggested to me to become better. And, life became better. And another thing, I was in a meeting, and there was this guy, and he was a single father. And I'm like, my kids were still in state's custody, and I was straight. I was still playing the blame game. It wasn't on me to get them, and he was talking about being a single father, and I went up to the state, to the courthouse, and I went up to the courthouse, and the prosecutor was like, Judge, we haven't seen this man, and they were actually gonna go up for adoption, the twins, and the judge said, well, if they're his, we're gonna give him an opportunity to fight for him. And 6 months after that, I had sole custody of those twins from the state. And that's been like 9 years ago,
That's what's up.
Yeah, that's been almost 9 years ago. And so I got my babies, but I still was moving the same. I would drop my kids off with my mom and go to 1,000 meetings. And somebody in one of those meetings, they said, you doing the same thing you used to do. And so they taught me how to be a father, and through that process, I had to learn how to be a father, because my oldest 2 sons, I never was able to be a father to them, I thought being a father was, my oldest Nook, I used to get him a double cup, and make him look like he's sipping syrup, put some ones in his pocket, put his hat to the back. And I thought that was cool for him to look like he's sipping syrup. I remember, in that lifestyle, when he got 12 years old, I was going to be the first person to get him his first piece. That's how sick my mind was. That's how wrong my thinking was. You know what I mean? I never was the father that I should have been to those boys, because I didn't know how to love myself yet. I didn't know that, that I was hurt. I didn't know that I needed healing. I just didn't know what to do. And my mental health and addiction took it away from me. So I ended up through the process, a lady came to Arby's, and she was the DON at a treatment center. And she ended up hiring me at that treatment center to come in there and be a tech. So I started working at the treatment center as a tech. And once I, got into the treatment center, my attitude and stuff was so good, I moved my way up quick. I went to intake coordinator, and then I went to a trade school for counseling, which is, we call it LASAC, in Baton Rouge, and ended up, finishing that school. But through that process, I always say this: I was praying for a queen, but God seemed fit for me to marry Angel. And she sleep. Like, the only reason she married me, I tell all the time, is because of those twins. Like, you seen them twins, she was like, them my babies. And she came right in. She's been a mother. That's the twins' mother. That's all they know as a mother. She's adopted the twins. She been there since day one for them. And I'm so grateful for that, because I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to be a parent. It's a lot of stuff that she was able to teach me that, I may, just about being a parent and stuff like that. And so I ended up getting married. I got, I got some bonus kids. I don't even like to call them bonus kids, because, like, me and they dads got good relationships, so they our kids. Like, I got an extra son and a daughter that I love. I got a grandbaby. My oldest two sons, I was able to, as soon as I got my life together, rebuild that relationship with them. Like, my oldest son here with me right now, like, and bruh, like, this dude, he all the way me, but not the negative stuff, but he all the way me. Cameron, my second to oldest, he came and lived with us for a while. He ended up, when he graduated high school, going to the Air Force. Like, it's just, being able to build those relationships back, throughout this process has been a blessing too. I started working for an organization called Class, which is Healthy Living for All. What we do is this class called Balance, where we teach mindfulness. We teach how to not allow what we feel and think to control our actions. And the trick is, the way we do that is by not trying to change or control the way we feel. A lot of times we think that we have to control what we feel or change what we feel, but our feelings are trying to tell us something. We need to listen to them and then come back into this moment and still move towards our values and our goals. So I teach that class. I been working at Edgefield for about, 8 years. And I ended up, getting a job with the state. We started, or one of the first mobile crisis teams for substance use in this area, where we have people placed in the emergency rooms now. So when people come in, present Rapids and Cabrini, when people come in presenting with substance use or an overdose, what happens is we have a team of people. I got 6 people on my team, and they all have lived experience, and they sit in the ERs and they connect with those people, and they get them plugged into treatment right from the ER. It's no lag. They'll get them from the ER straight into a bed or whatever level of treatment they need. I do that. The Project Rebuild, we do kind of the same thing. I got Jarvis Fontaine. He's like, my business partner, my friend, and we kind of do it together. Jarvis was actually, one of one of the first. He's not one of the first people I was able to help, but he was one of the first ones that I helped and said, I'm coming with you, like, and was able to, come through this same process, and grateful for him too to be a part of the team. So, yeah, man, that's it. So now I spend, all my days, all my time trying to help people and teach people that like addiction is not a moral feeling, like, and also that the drugs, the alcohol, those things are not the problem, and that's why I went back in my story to when I was a kid, because the problem is I can take anything outside of myself to change the way I feel. I'll use people, I could use drugs, I could use a lot of things, you know what I mean? But learning that that this is a process of healing, that this is a process of identifying that stuff in my inner child, in my shadow self, and being able to love that part of me, being able to integrate that part of me into something that is good. My inner child still gets to be that inner child, but it gets to do it in a way that's healthy today. It gets to do it in a way that helps somebody else. I can control it. When he want to act too, I'm like, hey, little Dominique, calm down, bro. You good enough. You are worthy, and yeah, it still come out a lot. But today, through awareness and stuff like that and healing, I'm able to love on that part of me. I'm able to integrate it and allow it to be something good, because that's all little Dominique ever wanted to feel, was wanted, seen, loved, worthy, protected, safe. And even though my parents and my siblings, they always trying to give that to me, the way I perceived it and the way I perceived myself didn't allow me to receive it. You know what I mean? So today, man, I get to live out my dream. I get to help people, tell people like, nah, bro, you ain't a moral feeling. You not too far gone. You not bad off. And when I was in the Marine Corps, when I was in the separation platoon, which is the ones that's getting kicked out, it had a sergeant. He told me, he said, you will never be shit with this kind of discharge you getting. And I believed that for so long. I had another one, a drill instructor, when I was in the and this stuck with me too on the positive side. He said, whatever you do, make sure you the best of it, right? He said, I don't care what you do, but just be the best at whatever you do. And I remember that. But the one that told me that I would never be shit, I always like to say this. Like, I still get to fight for my country. I still get to fight for my people. I may not have an M16, bro, but I got my experience. I got my strength, my hope. I got my advocacy. I have my voice. I have my knowledge. I have the tools to still fight for my people. Fight for the ones who think that everybody done left them. Fight for the ones who think that nobody cares. Fight for the ones who think they're not good enough. Fight for those people who are trapped in darkness, and let them know, like, hey, we can look at this a bunch of different ways. It's spiritual warfare, and we can fight and win that too. It's a mental warfare. We can fight and win that too. Whatever the battle is, we can fight it. Like right now, bro, like people be thinking like, like in the last few years, like we done went through so much, but because of the work I've done on myself, I don't care what we going through. Like, you know what I'm saying? I know that we gonna get through it. You know what I'm saying? So I don't worry about a lot of stuff. I may seem like insensitive about a lot of stuff, but bro, when you come from where I come from, out that darkness, and God bring you through that, like it's when you like when your spirit, when demons literally like torturing you, like when you come out of that, it's not really a lot in the physical or in the spiritual that can affect you. You know what I'm saying? My wife lost her dad 3 years ago. Like my dad been sick. I mean, sick for years straight, bro. Like sick, like about to lose him sick. My brother, he be going through stuff. My mama, she be going through stuff. Like it's so much going on, but like I know, bro, that nothing is too big. Like if I believe, like in whatever comes in front of me, like even my own decisions, like, you know what I mean? I gotta put them in there too, because I could do stuff that cause issues too. You know what I'm saying? But even myself can't stop what God got for me. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I'm just blessed and humbled, and if people out there listening and you struggling with addiction, you struggling with mental health, you struggling with whatever you struggling with, like, I just want you to know, like, you could come out of it. And what we worrying about it for, it is what it is. You know what I mean? We gonna either trust God or we gonna worry about it. We gonna either do the work, we gonna
Can't
either
do
come
both.
up with a solution, or we gonna, so I'm just grateful, bro. I'm grateful for my life experiences. I'm grateful I get to go around the state. I get to go around the United States, like, and help people. We got this freedom fest, like, like, I haven't even prepared myself what God got for me, bro. I really haven't, but I know it's big, and I know it's gonna help a lot of people. So yeah, thank you.
I personally, I just, I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. From one black man to another black man, I'm just gonna straight up tell you, brother, I love you.
I love you too, bro.
You're such a motivation. Like, I'm proud of you. Like, and it's just, I love you, bro.
Thank you, bro. I love you too, man.
Well,
sure.
It's poetry time. I'm gonna get Imuna to spit a piece, then I'm gonna run one, and then we're gonna end the show with Dominique spitting one of. If y'all haven't heard his piece, Letter to Phenol, you're in for one tonight. So without further ado, I'm gonna go ahead and get my mic muted and bring Imuna up. Imuna, the mic is yours.
Okay. This one is called, can you hear me? Okay. A Painful Memory. White as snow, yet as dark as the night. I found myself being repeatedly victimized by Lady White. She was created to kill and destroy, and has broken many hearts, cocks her head back in laughter, and feels victorious as she tears families apart. When you first meet her, she appears to be beautiful, loving, and kind. You feel as though you are lucky to have her in your life, but all she wants to do is destroy your mind. It saddens me to see that so many have been taken and still are being taken by her charm, even when they realize that her motive was to cause them intentional harm. When I was introduced to her, I heard she was a bad bitch, and that only enticed me even more to get with her before realizing she was a force to be reckoned with. She took me away from my family and my dearest and closest friends. I was so hooked on what I thought was love until I had lost almost everything. Then I decided that our affair must end. Today, she is no longer in my life, but I still find myself thinking about her every now and then, especially when I'm frustrated or feeling like my problems will never come to an end. I will fight this struggle, this attraction, and fascination with her for the rest of my life. I think about her every time I wake up in the morning and before I go to bed at night. If you have ever met her and become a victim of her charm, you better run for it, because she's been playing you like a fiddle. She never loved you. She's been playing you all along. And if you've never had the pleasure of meeting her, consider it a blessing. Because once Lady White is a part of your life, you will be forever stressing. In peace.
Yeah, that was beautiful piece, Mona. Man. All right, so I'm getting ready to do a piece called I Admit It. I admit it. I have a hard time expressing the emotions that reside inside of me. The forced confidence I'll allow you to see is really only a mask to prevent your knowledge of the tears that are constantly forming in my eyes. You see, I usually hide my pain pretty well. But there are days when I feel like the struggle to defeat my depression is just a fight that I am no longer willing to fight anymore. Sometimes I feel like the burden of life is already too heavy, but the weight is constantly growing, creating pressure that sends negative messages to my heart, telling me daily that I should just give up. And I admit it. That option does put a rare, real smile on my face. Because on those days, when I feel like the struggle to defeat my depression is a fight that I'm no longer willing to fight, I'm completely convinced that my existence has been nothing but a hindrance to all those who have come in contact with me. And I admit it. I hate it here. I hate that I have to lie to my mother when she asks if I'm okay. I quickly tell her that I'm fine, but I only get away with that lie over a text message or inbox because I refuse to look her in her eyes because, you see, my mama knows when I'm lying. If I look her in her eyes, she would then know that there is a war raging inside of me between good and evil. And to be honest with you, I'm not even sure what side my depression is even on. But I admit it. I have a habit of bottling up my pain, refusing to share it until it is constantly shook and explodes on all those around me, leaving stains of my hurt on their lives. Do you have any idea how hard it is to wash pain out of a heart that lives in someone else's chest? I admit it. Sometimes I just want to just end it all. But on those days, when I feel like the struggle to defeat my depression is a fight that I am no longer willing to fight, I reach for the only relaxation and therapy that I know. I grab my pen and I ink my emotions between two blue lines of college rule paper. The dam of confidence is removed and the tears that I am afraid to show begin to flow, smearing the lines, but I keep writing. I write until the tears stop. I write until the pain ease. I write until I feel like I can make it one more day. And I admit it. I have a hard time expressing the emotions that reside inside of me. The forced confidence I'll allow you to see is really only a mask to prevent your knowledge of the tears that are flowing in my eyes. You see, I usually hide my pain pretty well. But there are days when I feel like the struggle to defeat my depression is just a fight that I am no longer willing to fight anymore. But today, I convince myself to fight one more day. In peace.
Yes.
So, Dominique.
Well done.
Bro, you supposed to win last with that. What are you doing?
Nah, this is your show.
Both of them was good. So I'll do this. Mine is short. Y'all notice my hat says "Stop the Fent," because not only do we have the war with addiction and trauma and mental health, now we have another thing called fentanyl. And once I read my poem, I'll give y'all some resources if you need Narcan or anything like that. All right. So you said you'll never touch me, but I knew that you were lying, because once the Percocets, the Roxys, and the hydrocodone are gone, I'll be on your mind. Or when they all stop working, with the stomach aches, the cold sweats, and crying, you'll always remember that I'll make you feel just fine. But I'm nothing like the others. A little of me and you could die. See, first you tell me your problems and I'll take them off your mind. You'll tell all your friends about me. You'll convince them to give me a try. But I'm nothing like the others. A little of me, you could die. See, first I take your family. They won't recognize you by sight. Next, I take your soul and I hide it from the source of light. Last, I take your breath like a thief in the darkest night. Oh, you said you never touch me. How I wish that you were right. Fentanyl. And I messed up a piece in there, but y'all got it.
That was tight. That was tight.
Thank you.
When I first heard him do this piece, I believe it was a video on Facebook, and I was dealing with a friend of mine, you know, who's having his own battles with addiction. As a matter of fact, he lost his battle recently. You know, he took himself out, you know, and I wish he would have just tried, bro. You know, I wish he would have
He tried.
said something to me, you know, but that's why I appreciate and love what you're doing so much, because there's people out there who needs to hear that. There's people out there who needs to hear your story, who they just need something to fucking latch on to. And just thank you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah. Yeah. I tell people, man, a lot of times, man, you know, the way addiction works, man, like they want it. Even the ones you think that don't want it, even the ones that continue to use, they want it. But, you know, sometimes how that pain, how that trauma, how that survival works, they just want to feel relief, bro. They just want to feel safe. They just want to feel protected. And and it's, you know, it's sad the way it works, but when our core needs aren't being met, I don't care what it looks like to us, but when our core needs, when that inner child, when those needs are not being met, we in survival, we in fight, flight, or freeze. So it may look like I'm taking something and it's destroying my whole life, but I'm taking something and it's fixing something on the inside. And so until we get through that little window where they're able to see that, oh, like I'm not just getting high, I'm fixing something that's broke on the inside. And once they realize that, then through the process, they can find a healthier way to fix that's what's broken on the inside, to protect, to make that inner child feel loved, man. Yeah, man, it's a hard one, but they want it. And if anybody need me, you can reach me at I want a Central Louisiana Human Service District. We have mental health outpatient. We have substance use outpatient. Um, you can reach me at on my social media, and I'll get you the number to the mobile crisis line is 318-664-4244. Again, that's 318-664-4244. You can reach Jarvis at Class, Healthy Living for All. Him, Alex, and over there. We have the Fresh Works program. We got free Narcan over there. If you just need somewhere to stop and then say, hey, I'm struggling, we got peer support navigators over there. Daniela's working over there. You can reach us at the Project Rebuild on any of my social medias. You can inbox my wife, because a lot of people do that. It doesn't matter how you getting, if you can, whatever it takes to get in, connect with me. If y'all want to stop the Fent hat, you can go on Instagram on at Stop the Fent US. You can reach out to me. We have some too, Mia Jarvis. And man, I thank you, bro. Like I really do, man. Like, you know, like even though I fight against stigma, sometimes it still feels a certain way telling my story, but I know that this is the way out. And anybody out there who's struggling, man, y'all reach out. Y'all reach out. Y'all reach out. I appreciate you.
Mona, you have any last words for our very distinguished guest?
I am so happy that you decided to touch down in the lounge. And you're more than welcome to come back anytime. I appreciate you for coming through.
Thank you. Thank you.
My bad. So on behalf of Louisiana Lyricist Lounge, I'm Paul Cram the Poet, aka Drip of All Trades, my beautiful co-host, the very talented Imuna J. We just want to say thank you for your story. Thank you for making time. Thank you for what you're doing. Born and raised, grew up in the city. I know how it is, and I know the fight that you got going. But you fighting. You're doing a lot more than what a lot of people who should be doing not doing. And I just want to say thank you, man. As far as poets and followers and everybody, man, you already know what I'm getting ready to say. If you got something to say, poets, shit, don't sit on it. Speak on it. I'm out.